I'm going to create another piece of abstract artwork that can be used to create a piece of sheet music. I'm going to include 5 lines because the staff on a piece of sheet music has 5 lines, and this will make it easier to turn this image into music. I'm creating some abstract shapes that just respond to the shapes of those lines. The lines are curved, and when you balance a composition, you need a balance between curves and angles. So when I respond to those initial curves, I'm including angles. There are also more angles created when that pinkish purple abstract shape crosses over a green line. When I looked at this image, I wasn't completely happy with the composition. So I decided to rotate the canvas and work at it in another position. This is a common technique when creating abstract art. This series is also a series of abstract portraits, and I'm not incorporating anything figurative into the image, but it should still tell you something about the person. The aspects of who they are should be present within the work and the process. I've gotten partway through creating this image, and then I've turned the whole thing on its head. If this was an aspect of someone's personality, it would reveal an ability to think differently and see things in a new way. And this is an aspect of this person's personality. Different ideas that you're working with always seem to find a way of flowing together. I'm adding more light and shade to the image. When you add contrast to an image, it helps to create a more balanced composition. It makes the image more striking. I'm also adding more abstract shapes and detail. The piece is finished, and we can now look at turning it into a piece of sheet music. First, I've taken away the colour so we can just focus on where our notes are going to be. I've followed the abstract shapes of our abstract musical staff, and I've drawn a series of circles along it. Those circles are going to be the musical notes. I've looked at the placement of each circle, and I've used it to tell me where to place it on the staff. In some ways, this piece of abstract art is a piece of abstracted sheet music. It's distorted, but you can still tell where each note should go. The only circle that didn't become a note is this isolated circle here. In the image, it looks separate from the others, so I decided that it wouldn't become a musical note, and instead I would use it as an indication of what key signature to choose. The circle indicates the note F, so I decided that I would choose the key of F sharp major. The key signature is indicated by all these sharp symbols at the beginning. Each key signature creates a slightly different sound. When there is no sharps or flats in that space next to the treble clef, I'm in the key of C major or A minor. This is what it sounds like in that key. Let's hear what it sounds like now it is in the key of F sharp major. You can hear that there is a difference. This becomes more noticeable if I just play the first 4 notes from each section. So we've chosen the key, but at the moment all the notes are held for the same amount of time and the space between each note is the same. We need to change that so it can become more like a melody. I've changed the note lengths and I've also added places to pause in the music. I've taken the melody and added some chords and a bass line. Let's listen to what we have so far. The music has one section, but I still want to create another piece of artwork so we can add another section. Once again, I've added 5 lines that could act as the musical staff. I need to add some abstract shapes to the image and a larger amount of light and shade. I'm adding some yellow, but I don't plan on just having green and yellow on the canvas because there are more compatible colour combinations. The complementary colour to green is red, so I'm adding some fiery colour to the canvas. In the final image there is more green than red, and you might suggest that it makes the image unbalanced. However, it is still balanced because of how the colours are positioned. The green stretches out across the whole canvas. The red is placed in prominent central positions that demand a higher level of focus. It isn't just about balancing the amount of colour, it's also about their placement on the canvas. Some positions have more significance than others, and it alters the composition. I've removed the colour and added some red circles on the pathway that is suggested by those abstract shapes. We can now use this to indicate where to place those notes. The staff is vertical in this image, and I could choose to start from the top or the bottom. I choose to start from the bottom and work my way up. There are 2 circles that seem isolated from the rest, but I've kept them as part of the melody. Those notes are B and D. I considered them both to be a suggestion of key. I decided to use B major as the key signature for this section. Let's listen to how it sounds. At the moment, all the notes are the same. There is no variation in the length of time each note is played for. We need to add variation to turn this into a melody. I've changed the symbols for some of the notes, making them shorter or longer. There are also moments where the music pauses for a moment before continuing. Let's hear how it sounds. I've then added some chords and a bass line. It now sounds like this. We have bits and pieces, and now we want to put it together into a larger musical score. I've added variations on the pieces of music that we've already created, and now it's a much larger piece of music. I then went on to change some of the instruments and finish the track. Here is the final version being played in Ableton Live.